A former January 6th prosecutor from Biden's Department of Justice has been arrested. Yes, he was originally fighting for America to save democracy against the insurrectionists, but then suddenly he felt very stabby, apparently, when he was driving on the roadway. Road rage incident put him in handcuffs, and the mugshot is now here. Patrick Douglas Scruggs is the guy who has been arrested, and he's the same prosecutor from the Department of Justice, the people who were supposed to be upholding the law, who prosecuted Lectern Guy, who almost took over this entire country by virtue of the fact that he almost left with a podium. If you control this podium, you know, I think their nuclear codes are in there. So Lectern Guy communicated this on X. He says, oh man, what happened to it? That's him. I get asked this all the time. If I'm the actual lectern podium guy, the answer is yes, this is me. And he was commenting about this arrest. He says, meet the guy who prosecuted me in Tampa for walking into a building on January 6th. My crimes were so egregious that he demanded that I wear an ankle monitor, be drug tested at random, surrender my passports, and be restricted to the Middle District of Florida and given a nightly curfew. What restrictions do you think he should get for stabbing a man repeatedly in public? Good question, Lectern Guy. And here is the story. Now, this is a former Department of Justice prosecutor, and the story goes as follows. They say that the Tampa man who had previously been accused of stabbing another motorist after a crash on a bridge in Tampa, his name is Patrick Douglas Scruggs. He is a former assistant United States attorney, a prosecutor who spent about a decade at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Tampa. Now, according to his LinkedIn page, he was there from 2013 until 2023. Nice 10 years. Now, that's interesting. All right, so maybe he's leaving. Couple things. According to his LinkedIn page, in May, he joined Barnes and Thornburg, an Atlanta-based private law firm, as, quote, an of-counsel attorney, the page says. They described him as a seasoned litigator and an investigator with experience in various areas of criminal law. Now, this is curious. So, he's 38 years old, and he was in public service as a prosecutor for 10 years. So, he may be trying to get his loans discharged, his loans literally dismissed, right? You work as a government person, 10 years go by, your loans go away. So then he bailed after year 10. He says, I'm going to go make that private money, and I'm going to go be of counsel as a lawyer for a private firm. Just hypothetically speaking, you know, this is all speculation. I don't know. The alternative would be that something happened. You know, he departed the U.S. Attorney's Office for some reason and then went to become of counsel. And it wasn't a student loans thing. Now, of counsel is not really a formal employment position either. So it's kind of just like a related attorney. Like, we're not going to bring you on as a full-time employee of the firm or a partner of the firm, but you will be loosely connected to the firm. Anyways, so now Scruggs faces his own legal trouble stemming from a bizarre chain of events that unfolded on a rush hour freeway as traffic was winding down on a weeknight. According to the news release that was issued by Highway Patrol, a 40-year-old Tampa man was driving a sedan south on the freeway when he and his 43-year-old wife noticed a vehicle was stopped in the travel lanes of the bridge. The 35-year-old driver, also of Tampa, was slumped inside his sedan, and so the couple pulled in front of the car to help. So this 35-year-old guy's like, you know, not doing well. This nice couple, 40, 43, they try to stop to help. The 40-year-old man was unable to get inside of the other sedan, so he walked back to his car to get something to break the window. He's like, this dude is not doing good in there. While he was doing that, the 35-year-old man woke up and accelerated forward, crashed into the couple's sedan. He then shifted in reverse and tried to get around the couple's sedan, but at that point, he struck Scruggs' sedan as he was driving by the scene. Okay, so I already know what's happened right now. So the 35-year-old guy is probably driving under the influence, right? He's DUI at the time. Although this is early in the morning, it's pretty amazing. So this is probably somebody, if I had to guess, you know, in my opinion, just speculating, it's somebody who was driving under the influence or was, you know, sometimes you have a long night, like a 3 a.m.er, right? You wake up, let's say 9 o'clock, you're still hammered drunk because of how late you were up. You pass out because you didn't sleep, you wake up, you freak out, because you don't know where you are. You hit the gas, you accelerate, you cause an accident. Now you're trying to flee the scene of an accident. It's exactly what happened. So this guy throws it into reverse. He then backs into this former U.S. attorney prosecutor who, spent 10 years upholding the law. So Scruggs pulled over. Here's what happened. Slumped over. 35-year-old driver was slumped over inside his sedan. He woke up and accelerated. He shifted into reverse and he tried to get around the couple's sedan, but at that point he struck Scruggs's car. So then Scruggs pulled over, the former prosecutor, got out, walked up to the driver of the vehicle, who was probably DUI. He broke a window and started stabbing him with a pocket knife. Gosh, man. So according to Highway Patrol, Scruggs then broke the window. You hit my car. Breaks the window, starts stabbing this dude with a pocket knife, like what, a Swiss Army knife or something? So the couple then, this poor couple, they're trying to help everybody and their car gets hit. Now they're witnessing an attempted murder, essentially. The couple returned to their vehicle. They're like, whoa, okay, now we're not going to help this guy. Now we got to stop this violent assault. So they return to help the man being stabbed now. But then the prosecutor turns around and tries to stab them too. So then they turn around and they flee. They're like, what the heck is going on, man? That couple is never stopping for anybody ever again. Ever. Never. The husband's like, no, these people are different. The wife's like, hey, Rob, what do they tell you? Robert, don't you even think about pulling this vehicle over. Just keep going. So a St. Petersburg Police Department officer driving past saw the commotion and he pulled over to help. So we've got this former prosecutor now who's stabbing multiple people. He's literally insurrecting the entire road on, he's insurrecting the peaceful transfer of vehicles through the line of traffic, which is, quite frankly, we need to be able to drive around in this country in order to do things like vote and in order to be able to participate in the American dream. And so what this prosecutor has done is insurrected the very foundations of our country. In fact, the very foundations of the freeway, quite literally. So the officer pulls over. He's like, what the heck is happening here? This guy's just stabbing everybody. So then the officer detains Scruggs and calls for assistance. So the 35-year-old guy was taken to a local hospital with injuries. Maybe he fainted or something and freaked out, but we'll see. So troopers arrested Scruggs on charges of aggravated battery, aggravated assault, and armed burglary, which is crazy. Those are like pretty minor charges if you're stabbing somebody multiple times, and the person didn't obviously have life-threatening injuries, but goodness. So then this guy was released from county jail, $65,000 bail, which is crazy because think about all of the January 6ers who didn't stab anybody, okay? How many stabbings? Were there any stabbings on January 6th? I think if I remember, here, let me count them all of the stabbings that we heard about. 0! There weren't any. They said that they had like pointy flagpoles and stuff. There was a shooting by the Capitol Police, but there were no stabbings. There were just people who were there, and they did not get bail, not even a $65,000 bail. In fact, many of them are still in custody. There were many people who didn't stab anybody, who didn't even so much as touch anybody, who were in custody, because there were people like Enrique Tarrio who were not even there. So this guy is now free after stabbing and attempting to stab multiple people. Probable cause affidavits for this former prosecutor from Biden's Department of Justice include few details, and they do not list a suspected motive in the attack. Well, I could here, theorize on what it might be. Somebody hit his car and he's a prosecutor. And, in my opinion, many of them are unstable in general. And so he just lost it. Tampa Bay Times could not reach Scruggs on Wednesday. A defense attorney was not listed for him on Wednesday morning. Voicemail messages left in Atlanta were not immediately returned. In a public Facebook post that has since been taken down, this person, Tara Jex Inglansky, said that she came upon the incident as it was unfolding. Her post said she saw a man holding the knife, and I saw the arms of the guy sticking out of the window like he was pleading for help. All of his arms were all cut up. Look at this. I took the photos and I noticed a knife in the guy's hand, and there was blood all over both of them. Iglinski's post said, I don't know what happened before I got there or what happened after I was able to get around. All right? This dude is stabbing this dude. Looks like a knife right there. And his hands are out like, don't stab me, for crying out loud. So it's posted on Facebook. Says, just to be clear, I did not see him stab the knife. I did not see him stab the knife. I saw him holding a knife. I saw the arms of the other guy sticking out like he was pleading for help, and his arms were all cut up. I took the photos. I noticed the knife in the guy's hand. There was blood all over both of them. I don't know what happened before I got there after I was able to get them. I saw an accident on the bridge. I have no idea what in the world is going on there. Arms of the other guy. So sad. I hope everyone is okay. So that's the guy in the car. Hard to tell whose cars or what cars. So maybe that's the prosecutor's car. Don't know. But Scruggs got his law degree from Boston Law School. He joined the narcotics section in Tampa. Guy probably put hundreds of people in jail and prisons. And, you know, now his previous practice was trial division in the prescription drug investigation unit. Right? That's right. He prosecuted a murder for hire case, and he penned an artfully worded and memorable sentencing memo. She got 65 years in prison for that. He also appeared on behalf of the federal government during the J6 prosecutions. He appeared during bond hearings of Adam Johnson. He told the judge, "This is a serious case, Your Honor. Everyone involved in storming the Capitol needs to be held accountable for their actions." Yeah. And he sentenced Johnson to 75 days in jail. Now, my question, I'll be very curious, did Scruggs ever argue for anybody during a release conditions argument to keep them in custody permanently? Like, did Johnson stab anybody? I don't know. I don't think so. I know there were assaults and stuff, but I don't think there were, like, stabbings with knives that we saw at the Capitol. There were assaults, there were pushings, there were hittings. People were getting knocked around a bunch. But did somebody bring out a knife and start stabbing anybody like that? I don't think so. And we covered a lot of the January 6 cases here. So, former United States Attorney Prosecutor. I do hope he gets well, whatever happens to him. I do hope he gets well, and I genuinely mean that. It's not okay to obviously stab people because you're mad they hit your car in the middle of a highway. But we also have to ask ourselves why individuals with these types of propensities are prosecuting people who don't get out of custody because of political prosecutors, probably like this guy, in my opinion, and probably like the judges in different venues, different jurisdictions. But some people get out and get to defend themselves, and other people in this country don't get to get out of custody. They don't get to defend themselves at all. So double standard continues. This guy who prosecuted Lectern Guy, now arrested in a road rage incident, and I'm sure he'll be free, and we'll see what the penalties are, see whether he gets 22 years like Enrique Tarrio or 18 years like the Oath Keepers, who both were not even there. He was there, he did the stabbing, and he's a prosecutor. Shouldn't he be held to a higher standard? Blah, blah, blah. We'll continue to cover, my friends. I hope you join us as we do. Thank you for liking this video and subscribing, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.